So I'm here with Anita, who is a faculty member at IIT Irvine, and she moved to the US almost 11 years ago. You're talking about the cultural differences in the workforce and at universities between developing countries such as India and the US, and you've been in the middle of both. So tell us what you've noticed.
If I were to pick out the difference, I think one important one is it's a much more individual culture here, I feel. And in a way, you have to be a very strong advocate of yourself and your own kind of, network, like kind of speak out on, what your contributions are or how you're approaching, how you're thinking. Whereas in India, I think the cultural, message, especially for women, is not to, speak out as much. Exactly. And I think that's a positive one, like kind of, and that does like kind of help in better understanding and communicating among the individuals. So that's it.
Now, tell me about how do you think you define success? What is success in your mind?
I think success in my mind is having that confidence and that kind of, silent, just, happiness, right? It's fulfillment, but not at a superficial level, but at a much deeper one, and being able to, have an impact, a positive impact on the world that others, recognize and at the same time build upon and have a synergy and, is a much bigger thing. Like it's not just about individual success, but success at a much bigger level that other can connect with and build upon it.
Now, if you were to name three things that you've learned from the journey that you started about, or I would say 11 years ago, to now, what are the three most important things that you've learned that you did not know when you started your career?
I think, the first one is to, listen to people, to kind of get the feedback, but not kind of take it in a very serious way. It's kind of having that balance, you should not ignore the feedback, especially from mentors, from, supervisors, seniors, or anybody who kind of, knows about what you're doing. But at the same time, there can be a lot of different, it's subjective. It's nothing ever is kind of purely objective or rational. But to take that all together and to use that for self-improvement. So I would say that has been the most important thing. Yeah, it is. And it's always hard, because you can say all these principles of being Zen, but to actually practice it is a very hard one.
Yeah, so what was the second thing?
So the second one was about communication. I work in a challenging area which involves a lot of deep mathematical analysis. But to get others who are not in my area excited and see the relevance, and at the same time see like why it's important for the society, for the field, that was an important lesson, because most of like schooling is about having developing a core expertise and being able to do well in that. But life is much more than that. So I would say the second one was that. And the third most important lesson, being in academia, it's given me the opportunity to deal with and interact with kind of people from all walks of life, from students to other fellow educators, and of course, journalists like you, and, from people in industry. So, being able to interact and kind of use the synergy of people with different ideas, different skill sets, and how we can, kind of get everybody involved and make a strong team. So, in fact, like I have a team of international students from all over the world, and half of my team is women, which I'm very proud of. And so having this diverse team and getting people again, and they're also in different areas of expertise. Some of them are in electrical engineering, some of them in computer science, some in mathematics. So seeing like these different viewpoints and getting them together, finally it's all about people. Even though I'm doing, very highly, somewhat abstract mathematics, it, boils down to people and everywhere. I think that was the most important life lesson.
Well, I'm inspired by that 50% number. And so if you had to pick one thing that's the most important thing that you learned from IIT, being an IITian, that you could implement at your workforce, what do you think that is?
I think it's the passion, like the passion of like fellow IITians, like I think we had just this excellent student body, which did amazing things. Like at that young age, like having like kind of so many like who are now my lifelong friends, as well as this huge network of students, as well as faculty and other like kind of supporting people in IIT that made that happen. For instance, I was in one of the organizing committee of like Shastra, which is the technical festival at IIT, and we got to like interact with the top researchers. We got them to come over. We had like robotics contests. We had so many interesting challenges, and we saw how different teams did such amazing work. They're like just students, but they could do so many amazing things. So I think that was very valuable for me. I cherished that experience.
So, being a woman at workforce, were you treated, or did you feel any different that how people treated you from another man, a peer man?
So, I mean, we hear so much about unconscious bias and that it exists, but to me, I think, I try not to think about it. I try not to pay attention, and I try to always give the benefit of doubt, because, it personally, it also helps me like kind of take the good feedback, as I said before, because there's a lot of feedback that's subjective, but take the good aspects of it and see how I can improve based on, if something was not kind of, thought to be right or treated well. So I try to give the benefit of doubt. I think that's just, I think, a better way to deal with it.
Well, thank you so much. Wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much.